let me sit. Let me sit in one of these Zach Taylor press conferences. Please, just one of them. Give me like 10 questions. I can't promise they're not going to all be like attacks on Zach. But he's also Snack Taylor. So let's just react to this and try not to throw up.
Find a way to get it done and win a game. We just got to make one play. Just one play. And some of these losses will turn into wins. And so, again, we just got to.
Why can't I get through 10 seconds without this idiot saying the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life? It's just one play. It's just one play, Zach. Zach, in what universe was that game just one play? Zach, we gave up 14 points because Poison Ivy jumped off sides. And then Demetrius Knight got called on the first drive with a penalty flag for illegal contact. Okay? We'll do a pick on the 2-yard line. 10 for Yoshi. We fumbled it on our own 30-yard line. Okay. We gave up 47 points. Where was the one play? What, in the end of that game, if we would have made the tackle, Zach? Zach, there was around 20 seconds left. If we would have tackled his guy, he would have been tackled at like the 30. And they would have went up and spiked the ball and kicked a chip shot field goal to win it. Zach, the one play you should be talking about, Zach, is your awful clock management. 52 seconds left in the game. First down and 10, we run the ball, we lose 2 yards. Run it again. Run it again. Because you want to run their timeouts off, Zach. In a perfect dream scenario, you score on 3rd down. You score on 3rd and goal. It's a 4-down territory. If you can't create a play on 4th down or 3rd or 4th down, then you shouldn't be a coach in the NFL. And that's truly the sad part. Let me just...
As coaches, we got to spend this week finding a way to help everybody and get it done, because it's sick. It's sick to lose like that. It's sick. That's what happened. So we got to own it.
No, it's sick that you still have a freaking job. You are going to try to find all week a reason why you should still be hired when you should be fired exactly within seconds. You and Duke. You and the joke of a Duke.
And we got to keep finding ways to improve and keep finding ways to find a win. Just these last 2 weeks, it hasn't happened.
Zach, are you surprised, frustrated, angry, whatever, that these
Well, we got to find a way to get them fixed. We are. I mean, we're like crazy. We're trying to do everything we can to get it done. And so, again, it's not because of a lack of work, lack of effort, lack of trying to cover every single stone to get it done. But it is tough. This has just been the result that we're dealing with.
My man. It's not a lack of work ethic. It's not a lack of trying. You cannot tackle to save your lives. No one on this defense can cover. No one on this defense can get after the quarterback. No one on this defense can do the most basic football thing they have done their whole entire life. You gave up 47 points. Zach, at some point, you gotta admit you're not trying hard enough. At some point, you gotta admit that there is seriously a problem. And it's not, we're gonna keep trying to fix this. We're gonna keep trying. At some point, Zach, you gotta use the word disgusting. You gotta use the word awful. This...
Is there anything you just feel the defense has been missing?
We just got to find a way to make a play, get off the field. I mean, it's no turnovers today, and this is a team that's, they're going to finish +2 in the turnover battle today. Chicago is, and that's where all their wins have come from. And so you lose the game by 5 points. They're +2 in the turnovers. They've been +3, but they've been +4. They've been +3, a lot of their wins. And so kind of more of the same for that.
Zach,
What about last week when we had 0 turnovers, Zach, and our defense still sucked? Zach, I don't think it's a turnover battle type of thing. And I know he's like, well, actually, wait. He's stupid. There was 3 turnovers. You had the interception at the end of the game, you had the interception on the goal line, and you had the fumble. There was 3 turnovers, Zach. He doesn't even know that. Not surprised because he probably doesn't know crap at this point because the guy's an idiot. And I'm sorry to be so harsh on him, but it literally is the same crap every single week. This guy's like a political figure. It's just the same record being played over and over and over and over and over again. I'm so freaking tired and exhausted.
it's a tough game.
+3 today, I guess is what they were, probably.
Sorry, Zach. Tough game to play at the 9-yard line there. Were you thinking about possibly trying to force them into their final timeout?
We ran the ball. I mean, that's what we did on the first play, ran the ball. So you get cute, and you force them to do that, and then you have no points, and then the game's over. So we just trust our guys to get out there and make a play, and that's just the way it goes.
Is it as simple as
Zach, it was first down. You ran the ball for loss of 2 yards. Congratulations. Give you a pity clap. Why couldn't you run like a misdirection on the next play, right? Run some other crazy concept. I mean, they ran 17 trick plays against us. You couldn't call anything that could be like a crazy run concept that maybe got you some yards and potentially got you closer to the end zone? You couldn't have called anything? You don't have any play in your playbook? Ben Johnson's over there with the freaking Asaurus with like 70 billion different crazy plays. You don't have anything, Zach. You've been this coach for this team for 6 years. You don't have any crazy plays. And again, like I said, you do that on second down till they waste their last time out. Then on third down, if you don't get it on second, third down, you try for a touchdown, or maybe on fourth down, you try for a touchdown. Most likely you want to try on third because fourth not, I mean, if you fail on third, you get a fourth, right? But at the end of the day, you want to waste their time out, Zach, because you don't want to give them any chance to come back and beat you. I understand the concept that you want to put points on the board, but you don't want to give the other team a chance, because when you do that, this is how you lose. You know, it's like, this is how we do it. This is how we lose it. And that's the phase right there on how we lose.
bringing Colston down after he makes that catch there, just someone tackling him?
Yeah, get him on the ground, force him into a tough field goal. You know, at that point, once the play's been completed, make him execute. And again, we just didn't get him on the ground, scored a touchdown, game over.
Again, yes, you're right. You could have technically tackled him, and let's again, you know, our guys can't tackle, so it doesn't really change anything. Even if they do tackle him in that situation, I still feel like they make the field goal anyway, because that's just kind of just our odds. But they could have still made a field goal. It would have been like if we had tackled him, let's say around the 20, it would have been a 37-yard field goal. I don't think we would have tackled him before that, but our real good chance would have been there. Yes, you're right, Zach, you could have. But I think at some point the defense just said, hey, you know what? Let him score, and let's see if we can do something with the ball back. It's stupid, but our defense is stupid. They're a bunch of stupid idiots, so that's just kind of how it works at this point.
You ever been around and come back like that? 15 points, 42.
I mean, the Houston game a couple years ago, it was very similar. We were right there a couple years ago. So it's a tough one to stomach, but it's the result is the result. And so, again, I feel sick right now, but all we can do is pick ourselves up and keep fighting. And that's the beauty of being in this profession and being in this locker room is we see what we're made of. We're going to keep fighting. We know there's going to be pretty loud noise out there. Criticism, it's deserved when we're the record we are and the results we've had. We're going to keep showing our character and keep fighting and find a way to lead these guys and find a way to make some plays and get some wins and keep this season alive. That's what we're going to do.
Can it be?
Season's over, buddy. Hate to tell you that. But the game he's talking about, by the way, is a Texans game. Now, you guys probably remember it because I'm going to tell you something that you would probably remember the play. Tyler Boyd dropped the game-winning touchdown. Remember the game now? Yeah. It was the Jake Browning was the quarterback. Yeah. That game. Now, what's funny in that game is we were down in that game like 27-3 or something. We got destroyed for most of the game. But then our defense locked up, and they took control of the whole entire game. And we came back because our defense was able to shut down the Texans in the second half. It's funny how the game he's referencing is that game where our defense actually shut down our opponent in the second half.
Be fixed on defense.
We're going to find a way. We're going to do everything we can to find a way. I think it's impossible for me to say yes or no. We've been trying everything we can. So we'll just keep working at it.
You scored 38 points last week, 42
Yeah.
this week. Most would say in the NFL that's more than enough points to win a game. How do you manage the locker room in not having the offensive players feel any sort of
Yeah,
resentment?
we fight like hell every single day to maintain the culture we have. Fight every single day. Talk to everybody I can possibly.
Stop fighting. Stop fighting to keep that culture. There's your answer. Stop fighting to keep that culture. Whatever your reasoning is to keep that culture, it's like we fight every single day to keep that culture. Stop fighting. I want you to stop fighting to keep that culture. Because that culture that you have is toxic, it's wrong, and it's the reason why we're not successful. So whatever culture that you and Duke and Katie has created, throw it out the window with all your employments. Please. Because that culture is awful.
Possibly talk to, and we're fighting. And these guys, if you watch them practice, they are like hell, working like crazy in practice. And so again, we just got to get some momentum. Got to get a play. Someone builds off that play, and we find a way to get some momentum on defense, and just haven't found a way to do that lately.
I don't even understand that. How could they look so good on defense in practice, but in the game they can't even do the most basic concepts of a football player? They can't tackle who's in front of them. They can't cover. They can't do anything right. We're not talking about like, oh, maybe they get like 10% of it right. They can't even get 10% of it right. They mess up the most basic crap over and over and over again. So how are you telling me in practice they're doing everything perfect, and yet in game this looks like a 3-year-old team out there who's a middle school peewee team? Like, how is that possible, Zach? Do you understand why people do not believe you when you say crap like that? Because we watch the game, Zach. We watch this defense. How are you telling me that this defense versus our offense that put up 42 points this week and 38 points last week, you're telling me that same offense in practice can't do anything versus our defense? Our defense in practice looks amazing versus our offense. I don't believe you. I think you're a liar. I think you're lying. I think you're covering this up because you want to keep your job and you know you should be fired. And I think that is the biggest issue.
Going into the season, there's a lot of talk about the defense potentially being better. Through 9 games, why do you think that hasn't materialized?
You just got to find a way. You know, we're working hard at it, and I know that's a hard thing to listen to me say over and over. But that's the answer. There's not a magic formula that we're just gonna we would do it if we could, and so we're just gonna keep finding ways. We got the bye week. We got to keep working through it. See if there's something we're missing. See if
Magic formula. Ian Rappaport tweets out, Duke Tobin and Zach Taylor has been fired. There's your magical formula. It's really easy. It's very simple. It's you guys unemployed. 100%.
if there's something we can enhance, we'll work at it.
How frustrating is it that Joe Flacco plays through the injury, has the performance he does, and for that to go to waste essentially? How tough is that given what he's playing?
And there's a lot of great performances today. What Joe Flacco did for us this week, you'll never forget, and I mean, just knowing what our quarterback room is working through right now, what Joe Burrow's doing too, and Joe Flacco, and what Jake's, all the things he's done, it's a really mentally tough room that leads by example. Joe Flacco got the opportunity to show that this week. That's him. Joe Burrow working like crazy behind the scenes to do everything he can to help our team. Flacco, I mean, he barely lift his arm this week, and he's willing to go put himself out there for a bunch of teammates that he's been with for 3 weeks. He's a football player. That's what he's out up here and said. He said, I play football for a living. That's what I do. And oftentimes, you need that throughout the locker room. Guys that are just football players, and they remember that, and they'll go out there and do whatever it takes to help their team win a game, no matter what, no matter the circumstances. You got to buy.
And the sad part is, you would think, Zach, you would feel guilty. You would feel awful for Joe Flacco. He is going out there and risking arm and leg, literally to a point where his shoulder might never work correctly again in his life. But he wants to go out there and win. And the sad part is, Zach, he wants to win more than you want to win. He wants to win more than the defense wants to win. And that's the truly pathetic thing in all this. You're not only are you failing the fans, you're failing your players. You need to be fired. You and Duke.
Bye week next week, get a chance to get rested up. That's how Joe Flacco looks at it. And so he went out there and put himself on the line. I'm sure he's going to be in a ton of pain tomorrow. And we'll give him 10 days off and see if he can come back and do it again.
The offense had a terrific game, but what happened on the intentional grounding there on third down? Kind of looked like a weird play.
Miscommunication. Yeah, we were checking a play and didn't everybody get it?
Field goal, it was after that, the decision was was
Yeah.
that a tough decision?
It's a tough decision. It's a tough decision. It's tough. Whether that was the right thing to do or not. I'll have to reflect on that. It's a split-second decision because now you're in your head. You're thinking 4th and 3 or less potentially, and so then you got to shift very fast to the decision to kick the field goal. And okay, now you're down 4 and hope to get another possession, get a stop, and go win the game. So. It was tricky. That was a decision we made. Obviously, it didn't work out, and I'll have to digest if I made the right one there.
What is your message to the team heading into a bye?
Yeah, I'm going to keep fighting. The coach is going to keep fighting. I know these players have shown that they're going to keep fighting. It's frustrating for everybody to put in the work that's being put in, and this is the result we've had. It's frustrating, and sometimes you got to take a deep breath and then come back to work and try to uplift others. That's I face a lot of adversity here. And the only thing I know how to do is keep trying to lift people up. That doesn't mean we run from corrections. That doesn't mean we don't give criticism. But at the same time, the easy thing to do is question everything and point fingers and be negative and be an energy vampire in a lot of ways. And I think we got enough guys that just want to continue to lift people up and find answers, find solutions, help where they can, make myself better, make the person next to me better. And that's all I know how to do. That's how we built a coaching staff that does that too. We built a locker room full of leaders and great men that are following suit there, and that's what I've seen from them, and that's just what we're going to continue to do. And I don't have something I can say that's going to say, hey, we're just going to fix this and things are going to be better. It's not that simple. I wish it was, but I can promise you we're going to fight like hell to keep finding wins here and get the season turned around.
Oh, it's pretty easy, actually. So the defense is going to take around 5 years to fix. That you're right, Zach. That's going to take a long period of time to fix. Now, you are correct. You did create this locker room where, wait, wasn't one of your team captains, Logan Wilson, doesn't he went off the team? So you create a locker room of team captains, yet one of your team captains, he wants out of your team. He doesn't want to play for you anymore, Zach. Why do you think that is the case? Because you create this culture, you create this environment where even when people are to blame and you have to point fingers and you have to call people out and you have to say what's wrong and what's right, you don't do it. You act like nothing's wrong. Oh, let's just go on to next week, guys. It's all good. Ha ha ha. I'm Uncle Zach. Everything is fine. No, it's not, Zach. You don't try to find answers. What you try to do is put a Band-Aid, cover it up, and move on. And that's the reason why, Zach. You don't have leaders on your defense. You have zero. Because you coddle them. You accept their failures. You accept them messing up. And you accept them not doing their job, Zach. You don't call them out. You don't point fingers. You don't do anything. You sit there like a political figure and smile and talk about accountability and how, this is the kind of coaching staff we created. No, yes, That's the issue, Zach. Your whole coaching staff is an issue. This is why we don't say just to fire you. We say fire Duke Tobin. We say fire the front office. We say gut the whole thing, top to bottom. Because you guys have created this toxicity, this toxic environment. You're saying you're not an energy vampire. That's exactly what you are, Zach. Because all you try to do is avoid reality. And my speech impediment killed me there. But that's all you do. And you always say, oh no, it's okay. We're next man up. Someone needs to stand up. Zach, how about you stand up? How about you, the guy who takes accountability? Zach, how about you figure it out? But you know what? You can't, Zach, because you don't want to. You know what the answer is. The answer is this whole front office needs to be gutted. And you need to be unemployed. And that's the fact of the matter is.
Are you surprised to see like the tackling issues, especially when?
Yeah, we work like crazy at it. I mean, it's all we seem to talk about and work on, and we have to improve.
All we do is talk and work on tackling. That's all we seem to work on and talk about. And you still can't tackle, not even one bit. And it doesn't, and you watch this whole year, we get worse and worse every single week at tackling. Zach, if that was the case, what do you think the first solution is? As you said, you don't point fingers, right? You don't say whose fault it is. You don't get upset with people. But Zach, any other profession in this world, if the coach's job was to make sure the guys could tackle and they continue to look bad, right? They continue to not do their job correctly, someone gets fired. Someone gets kicked out, right? Someone gets kicked out. And if all over and over again your guys aren't doing what you're supposed to do, you either release them or you fire the person who's training them. You fire the person who's coaching them. But yet, no, there's no accountability, Zach, because you don't want to point fingers, because you don't want to be negative, because you don't want to say something's wrong.
Losses, like especially these last two, do you now going into the bye, are you looking at all personnel for trades, for switches in-house?
No, I keep working with the players we got. That's what we're going to do. We're going to keep finding solutions with the guys we have, and if something else comes at us, so be it. But that's, I'm going to work with the players we got in here, and we're going to keep finding solutions to what's going on right now.
It's been tough here at home, really going back to the start of last year. Does that add just a little more frustration to this whole thing, big picture, just how tough it's been to win here?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, our fans, they show up for us, and you got to give them something. You got to give them something. And, you know, you did have the Pittsburgh game, and then you come back, and you know, the last 2 weeks have been what they've been. So that is tough. It is tough losing at home. It's not what we want. Okay, thank you.
It's tough losing those games. Zach, it's disgusting. It's heart-wrenching. It's awful. Why do you use words that are so soft and passive for things that are literally your career? First off, number one. Number two, the second point he made there. Let me go back a little bit.
Yeah, we work like crazy at it. I mean, it's all we seem to talk about. Tough. It is tough losing at home. That's it.
Big picture, just how tough it's been to win.
Yeah, my bad. There we go. About the trading. So he's like, I'm going to just coach the team I have. We're not going to trade. If someone comes at us, whatever, but we're not looking to trade. This is what every team in the NFL has said. They have literally said over and over again, they don't think the Bengals are serious about wanting to trade any of their core pieces. Makes sense, because it's exactly what we're seeing here. You can't trade. You can't trade. You can't trade anybody, right? Because Zach says there's no problem. Zach says we're still in it. Zach says the season's not over. This whole entire coaching staff, this GM, not even GM, Duke Tobin's not even GM. Duke Tobin is a player personnel. It's a joke.